This episode is brought to you by Americas Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the ARCast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Buddha.
I'm Michaela.
I'm Vance Johnson.
And this is the ARCast. I don't know if you guys heard Ann's episode. If you have not heard Ann's episode, please go back and listen to it. She had a very, very powerful testimony. Thank you, Ann, again for coming and sharing with us.
It was powerful.
It's beautiful what this is doing. It gave me chills, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
God's moving, most definitely.
Yes, and speaking of, this gentleman you're going to be introducing actually shares those podcasts with the different clients that will be coming into ARC.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I want to introduce to you guys somebody very special. He's a good friend of mine. You know, I'm very proud of this gentleman right here. He has changed his life. He's doing fantastic. I want to introduce you guys to our friend, Mr. Tony, Anthony D. What it do, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You doing
How you guys
good?
doing?
I'm excited to have you. I'm excited.
I'm real excited too.
Yeah? All right. Good. So why don't you tell the listeners out there right now, what is your job title here?
I'm a transport driver / BHT.
And is this the first time you've ever gotten into this line of work?
No, I've been driving for 30 years plus.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York originally, and
You got that accent.
Yep. It's
Hey.
Brooklyn in the house.
forget about it. You know? Yeah, I'll break your face. No. But yeah, I was born in Brooklyn. I didn't remember too much from when I was a kid, but me and I have two sisters. My mom and dad got divorced back in '69. My mother got stuck with us. For some reason, she couldn't handle us, so she put us in the foster home.
So were you a foster home back east or out here
In New York.
in New York?
I didn't come out here until 2002, but yeah. So that was pretty rough. We went into foster homes, and it was a mess. It was a nightmare. I mean, from what I can remember. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember. I probably just blocked it out, but a lot of physical abuse, mental abuse, it sucked.
You know, brother, I had a chance recently to go speak to a number of high school kids here in Tucson, Arizona, and many of them actually, to this day, are in foster homes. Wow. So your transparency, what you're going to be sharing, will really offer hope for so many people that are going to be listening to this podcast.
Well, let's put it this way. If the people that did the stuff to me and my two sisters happened today, these people would be in jail. Yeah. I mean, it was horrible. I don't want to get into details, but, maybe I'll write a book one day and you guys can read it.
Oh, man. So you came into the foster. How old were you when that happened?
I was 3 until I was 17. I lived in foster homes, group homes, campus homes. But in between that, 2 years in between in the early 70s, I lived with my dad, and that was worse. I mean,
Really?
he was a hardcore Scotch drinker, and all he did was beat the shit out of me for no reason, just because, I don't know.
Wow.
But anyway, so I was going nowhere when I was a teenager.
Let me ask you a quick question on top of that. So you talked about your dad, being abusive to you. Did your father grow up with a father or without a father?
Oh, my dad's dad, he was bad. He was mean. He was one mean dude, man.
So now you know how your dad inherited that. So
Wow.
it's not all your father's fault, but literally if you're raised with a father that's abusive, and you might be that dad when you grow up to be abusive as well.
Oh, not me.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about fathers.
I'm just saying, I love kids, man. Kids, they got a place in my heart,
Yeah, my father had something very similar. He was one of 15. One
Wow.
of 15
Wow.
kids. Yeah, you don't hear that very, very often nowadays. And he experienced a lot of stuff too, but he's a good dude for everything he experienced. I think it's up to us to change those generational curses,
You are 100% correct, brother.
Absolutely.
That's biblical what you just said.
Absolutely.
As far as my addiction, my drug addiction started when I was 9.
9 years old.
Wow.
I smoked weed.
How were you introduced to?
My sister, my older sister, smoked, weed, and her friends smoked weed, and I just wanted to be like, in crowd, and I hated weed. I'd smoke some weed and I'd get the munchies and wind up throwing up, and then passing
Couldn't
out.
stop. Couldn't stop eating.
Yeah.
Oh man. Your teenage years, you said your preteens, teenage years. Would you consider yourself were you a troublemaker back then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was an antagonizer. I remember this one time when I was in one of those homes, one of those boarding homes, a new kid came on the campus, and I clung to him right away, and I pissed him off so bad. This guy punched me and kicked me at the same time, and I was like, how the hell did he do that? Well, we became best friends after that because I wasn't messing with him no more. But when I was a teenager, started doing, that's when Quaaludes were in.
Oh, wow.
Those things were phenomenal. But because I didn't like to drink. You know, I hated the taste of beer, but I drank it anyway to get a buzz. You pop a Quaalude and drink a couple of beers, it's like you drank a case of beer, you know? So,
How do you purchase those things in your teens? Did you have a job? How did you buy drugs?
I don't remember.
Thanks for that answer.
But actually, no, I did have a job. I remember my first job, I was working at this Italian Sella Maria, and I got fired after like 30 minutes after I got hired because I tried to carry like 5 cases of beer at once and dropped them.
Oh, no.
My sister got me my job back, but I was too embarrassed to go back. Yeah, and then I had a couple of little jobs. I was a messenger for a messenger service in Manhattan. Was in and out in the World Trade Center every single day, just about going up
Wow.
and down. Yeah.
Were you in New York when that happened?
No, I was in Florida, but I watched it on TV,
That's
and I
horrible.
thought it was a movie.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about, I did basically all kinds of drugs. I did pills, I did alcohol, I smoked weed, I smoked angel dust for a month. That was, what a trip. I did lots of acid. Then I got introduced to crack cocaine back in 1987.
Wow.
And I tell people, yeah, I smoked crack once for 20 years because you don't just smoke it once, I mean,
Yeah.
some people smoke it once and die. But anyway, that was one of the worst addictions I ever experienced. I'd never saw the light at the end of the tunnel anywhere. But so I joined the carnival in 2000. I was on my way to treatment in Florida, and this guy was standing on the corner, on the side there, and he talked me into joining the carnival. So I did that for 8 years, and then slowly weaned off of the crack and started smoking meth.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't touched crack in 14, 15 years, but the meth, it got to the point where I did that for 15 years and I could not stop. I mean, I would go to jail, be clean, come out, stay clean for a little while, and I just couldn't do it. Finally, I went to prison 2016 on a possession charge, and this is what made me go to treatment. I got out of prison. I spent almost 3.5 years in there. Got out, went to a sober living in Mesa, Arizona. Like I said, I stayed clean for 3 months, and then I said, screw this. I'm getting high. I haven't gotten high in almost 4 years. And I went on a tear, and I mean, I never slept on the street. Always had some kind of hustle. I drove cab, this and that. And then one day, about a month before I came to the ARC, I got pulled over with a friend of mine, and I had a whole backpack full of meth.
Oh, wow.
I saw those lights go on behind us, and my heart dropped. I knew I was going away.
How scary.
So the cop pulls us out, says, can we search the car? And of course, my friend said, yeah, go ahead. Search the car, and there's my backpack. He said, whose backpack is that? I said, it's mine. He says, can we search it? I go, no. He goes, well, why not? I says, because it's mine. And then he tried to gain our trust again and, just bullshit, how cops do. Then he says again, can we search that bag? I says, no. He says, well, why not? I says, because it's my personal stuff, man. There's no reason for you. There's no probable cause. We didn't do anything. You just didn't stop at the stop sign.
Oh, man. And at this point, your heart was probably racing pretty fast, right?
I was high.
So you know what I think? I think the cop did the right thing.
Yeah, he did. He didn't check the bag.
Well, what I meant was when he did check the bag, he did the right thing.
Yeah, well, anyway, so after the second time he asked me, he just said a couple more words, and then he looked at me and my friend, and he goes, have a nice day.
Wow.
So we're driving away, and I'll never forget the feeling that I felt in my heart. I was like, that was a gift from God, because if they would have found what was in that bag, I'd have been done. So I thought about it. I was on probation. I told my probation officer, I said, look, I can't stay clean. I got to go to treatment. friend of mine told me about this place in Tucson. I said, all right, let me call up. And I spoke to Anthony.
Oh, Big Tony.
Oh, I love that dude, man.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, he was the first one I talked to, and he did the intake and all this, that. And he says to me, he says, can you stay clean for 3 days and you go right to residential? I go, Tony, if I could stay clean for 3 days, I don't need treatment. Anyway, they finally, good old Joe Bond. He
Okay.
picked me up from Scottsdale. That dude's awesome.
Shout out to Joe.
Love you, Joe. Anyway, he picked me up and took me to Casa Grande, and good old Carlos took me from Casa Grande here.
Carlitos. I love Carlitos. That's
he's
my
a
buddy
good
right
dude.
there.
Anyway, so I came in, I went to detox for 1 day, and they usually don't detox you for meth, but I guess they just wanted to be safe. So I went to the residential, and at first, I really can't remember how I was. I mean, I had an attitude a little bit coming off the meth. My emotions were really high. I was depressed, but we went to these groups. You know, let me just say, I've been to many different treatment centers. I went to one residential in Florida. That didn't work. The first rehab I ever went to, I was 16. In and out of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, this and that. But when I came here, these groups were like these therapists, whatever you want to call them, the group leaders. I was so into it because it was this little 45-minute groups, but we just experienced different things, you know.
Yeah.
Like, remember Stephanie?
Oh, yeah.
She was awesome. And then
Absolutely.
we got Brenda. And, I got to give a shout-out to my girl, Karen. I love you, Karen. Karen is one of my favorites. I see her every time I see her out here. I give her a hug.
We love Karen.
Karen's great. And then I met Buddha. I'll never forget. I'm sure he won't forget either. I looked at him, and I was in like one of his study hall music groups. And I walk up to Buddha, and I go, you know, you look like this dude that I can't stand.
I remember that.
And I said, but he said, well, I'm not that guy. You know, I said, that's all right. But then right from there, I knew I was going to love this guy. And then, of course, Ray, I mean, he did some time, and I did some time, and I felt a connection with him right away. And he was pretty rough on me at times when I was in IOP, but it was only, you know, for my own good. And yeah, there was times where I felt like leaving, but this place taught me a lot of coping skills as far as don't take things so personal. You know, like when I'm driving down the road, somebody cuts me off, don't take it personal. Maybe the guy's going through something, you know?
Absolutely.
What do you think was something that changed through the groups that made ARC work versus the other one? Was it what you talked about, the time frame?
I like the conversation and the subjects that we talked about. I can't remember exactly which ones they were, but the main thing is I wanted to get clean really, really bad. And I think that the only way somebody's going to get clean is if they want to, if they really want it. Okay, I've had some setbacks since I've been clean on a little bit over 15 months, and
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And over this last 15 months, well, 12 months, I was building a relationship back with my mom that it was rocky the whole time in the last, whatever years. Anyway, she passed away about 3 months ago, and I'm still dealing with that.
Sorry for your loss.
Sorry, brother.
Thanks. But I know she's looking down at me, and I know she's proud of me. She was proud of me before she passed. I'm the kind of guy that I feel good if I make somebody else feel good. Like, like when I was a carny, I see a little girl walking by, she was a little sad. I throw her a stuffed animal or let her play the game for free or something, and then
That's cool.
give her something.
That must have been a very interesting life to be traveling like
Yeah.
It was. And I was getting high, like, I was always high when I was
Really?
out there. Oh, yeah. I mean, I did games. I didn't do the rides or anything. So they were a little bit more lenient on, the game people. But I did get run off about 10 times in 8 years.
that. Wow.
And they let me come back because they liked me.
So what was the straw that broke the camel's back for you? When did you decide, like, I really got to do something. I got to change my life.
Well, when I got pulled over by the cops.
Oh, okay. That's right.
And actually, I'm getting older. And I talked to my psychiatrist. He put me on some good medication, and everything's good. I don't have any. I've been triggered, here and there, but it doesn't last very long at all. I think what keeps me clean is picking up these people that are sick.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the day somebody comes walking through that door and it's hired that I picked up.
That's cool.
You know?
You said something to me earlier this morning about when you were in IOP or even before it was residential. You're like, I'm going to ride that van one day.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to drive it.
Yeah, when I was in IOP, I said, I'm going to drive that. I want to say that. I said, when I was in IOP, I told everybody, I didn't care who I told. I said, I'm going to drive that freaking van one day. And people are like, yeah. Well, guess what? I'm driving that van.
That's awesome.
And they're even newer now.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and how amazing, too, that, like, in New York, you were driving cabs, and now you're doing it, but with a purpose, because you're helping people, and you're a good person to be in that car with them, because you've been there. You know.
I play the podcast on in the van every time I pick up a group from Casa Grande, and most of them, for the most part, they listen, and they're like, "Wow, you know." And I tell them about Vance Johnson, and they're like, "Wow, really?" I want to tell this story. I told Vance this, and I told Buddha this yesterday. Just yesterday, I picked up a guy, and he gets in the van, and I said, "You like football? You into football?" He goes, "Yeah, Denver Broncos, #1." You know, I'm like, "Oh, so you?
Wow.
Do you know who?
Yeah.
You know who Vance Johnson is?"
Where's the crowd at?
Here we are.
I said, "You know who Vance Johnson is?" He goes, "Yeah, hell yeah, man, back in the day," because he's in his 50s, you know, the guy. So anyway,
And you found out, actually, that he grew up in Colorado.
absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
And well, he works at the ARC. He says, "Really?" So I text Vance and I said, "Hey, dude, I got a Broncos fan coming in, man. This is here we go." And as soon as I pull up, there's Vance. The guy didn't see him yet, but he's getting out of the van. And
Guess who's standing there with a football in his hand?
Oh yeah, and this guy, I mean, I just watching him be like, he was like speechless, you know. And I went up to him later on, like about a half hour later. I said, "Did that make your day?" He goes, "Thanks, man."
That's really cool.
Yeah. He said he was really excited about staying in the treatment, and I told him that while he's here at the ARC, I would love to spend some time with him personally, too, so I can just keep encouraging him with his walk and his recovery.
I told him, I said, "Hey, why don't you ask Vance that if you complete the program, if he would give you an autographed card?" He's like, "Okay," but he said he forgot to ask you.
He didn't have to ask. I'll make sure I give him one anyway.
That's cool, man. I remember even a couple days ago, we were up front for something, and I ran into you up front, and you were like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to a few people." And one of those gentlemen was talking about the Denver Broncos, and he's like, Vance Johnson, and you called him, and I think you were up front, Vance, and what, not even 30 seconds?
You remember that?
Yeah, you were up front pretty quick.
I
So
took off running up there.
I get off on that. I'd love to bring joy to people, man. And you know what?
It's about transparency, brothers. I have a saying, transparency leads to transformation. So we have to be honest about the things we had to struggle through so that we can know that there's a way out. Because many people, if you don't talk about it, they just wonder, well, then how did you end up getting clean?
Right.
Let me tell you my story. And so we really appreciate your transparency and the things that you had to endure in life
Thank you.
to be where you are today.
It's like this, you know, if you don't want to get clean, don't even bother.
It's
you
a
know?
choice, isn't it?
It is. And, you know, the drug problem here, especially here in Tucson, is really bad. Fentanyl ain't no joke. And, you know, I never messed with it. I'm glad. I know what the smell of it is, and it's so bad. And I just want to see more people stay clean. And, you know, my life, I'll tell you this right now. The last 15 months of my life, I own a car. I'm paying off a car.
beautiful car too.
Cadillac. I'd never, ever owned a car this nice in my life. I got my own apartment. I haven't had an apartment since I was 18.
Wow.
Okay? I might have had places to stay, this and that, and went to motel rooms, but that's because I gave somebody some dope or, you know, whatever. You know, we beat the odds. There's 4 people here that was in treatment, with, including me last year, that'll actually work here now.
Wow.
I want to give a shout out to them.
That is awesome.
Sammy. You know, I love you, Sammy.
Love Sammy.
Awesome. She is so great. And then we got Travis and Wacky Zachy. Love you, Zach.
Oh yeah.
He's going to love that.
It reminds me of football because you want people on the team that learn how to run the play.
And I think one of the things that's really cool, just sitting here and listening to your story, and even how Vance, you know, some people know him, but no matter who comes here, there's going to be someone that's on their team.
Yes.
So whether they know who Vance is coming in or they know him once they've, you know, completed the program and they go, they have people cheering them on that are part of the team that want them to get better. And when you pair that with wanting to get better yourself, that's the recipe. That's what you need.
Absolutely.
You know, support and wanting to do it for yourself.
Yeah. And when I travel around the country and share my testimony with people, I let them know and I ask them, who's your favorite team? And I hear different NFL teams, right? And guess what I say? Stay loyal to your team. Now we're all on the same team.
Yep, absolutely. We should make like a team name like the Arc Warriors or something like that. Something like that. But I mean, dude, I'm super proud of you, bro. I've seen where you're at now, and you showed me your car the other day. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. You have a light about you, man. You really do. And it's gotten brighter and brighter, you know?
Well, when I go home after working, I'm like, what am I going to do now? I just go to sleep and wake up and can't. I mean, I wake up 5:30 every morning, and I can't wait to come here.
Yeah.
I'll even come, even before I got my car and my apartment, I was here 2 hours early every morning. Sure, my boss was like, what the heck is he doing here, you know? And I love this place. It's my life. And I'm going to be here for a long time.
Right. I hope so. You know,
Definitely will.
there's a funny story. I was thinking about it right now as you were talking. I don't know if you remember this, but I was doing the workouts here for about a year, right? And I thought I was, so I made a big lifestyle change myself, and I started getting sick, which is why I decided to start doing the workouts. And I remember I was like doing really good doing these workouts for about a year or so. And this is right before I made the change. I think it was about maybe July of last year or August of last year, you know? And I remember you called me up and you said, Buddha, come here. So I ran up to the smoke area. You were an IOP at the time, and you're smoking a cigarette, and you're like, how you doing all those workouts and you're even fatter now? Or you said something like that to me. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, all right, cool.
Did I?
I need to step my game up. Yeah, I did. So I was like, you know what?
sorry.
No. It wasn't bad. Dude, come on, Anthony. We already know, bro. I love you. I love you. You got no filter. You're
Love
like
you
one
too,
of those American Spirit cigarettes. I love that about you. And I remember I was like, all right, cool. So when we finally made the lifestyle change, I was like, I cannot wait to see Anthony again, because I'm gonna be changing. And the first thing he saw me, he goes, damn, bro, you look really good. I said, yeah.
So what he heard you say was he heard you tell you need to stop.
He was being honest, and I was like, man, that's real. I gotta change up my lifestyle right now, for real.
That's right, bro.
Yeah, and you know what? It's dude, we've all made changes. Every single person that works here, and it's awesome to see the growth in everybody.
That's right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, and it's real people here that are helping everybody. And I think the thing that's cool too, coming onto staff, being on staff for that long, coming more recently, is seeing that we are so real and that we show that to our clients.
Yeah.
Because you can't go into a rehab and be like, oh my gosh, all these perfect people are perfect and I can never be there, because that's not achievable.
Right.
That's just not where we want to go. So coming into real just breaks that.
Absolutely. And dude, honestly, everyone here, like, I swear, it's like family. You really think about it, when we're here every day of the week, we spend more time with each other as a community for the most part than we do with on our personal lives. You know what I mean? So you really do grow to get close to people. So I really do mean that, dude. Like, I am so proud of you seeing that light. It's like, you're a brother, man. You're doing great.
Thank you.
When you
Thank
pick
you so much.
And when you pick those clients up and you bring them into the ARC, say, yeah, he used to play with the Broncos. Now he plays for the Arcos.
That's right.
The Arcos. And I'm telling you, Michaela, this dude should be part of the marketing team, because every time I talk to him, he's like, I played this episode for this group and I showed him these pictures.
Yeah.
I showed him some of your music
your
videos.
video.
Yeah, he's always promoting. So thank you. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I see your posts on the alumni page, because I'm an admin in there for the
Okay.
Facebook group, and I'm like, it's amazing to see someone that is so passionate about what they do, because you need that when you're coming to work and you're excited to go to work. Guess what? Our clients are going to get the best treatment.
Absolutely.
And that's what you want. You want to go into somewhere where you're wanted, and you go the extra mile to get to our clients. You come in early. I know you've been working a lot of overtime, because we've had to push this back, because you are there for our clients. And just like we said, our clients are our number one priority. So if we had to wait 3 more weeks to record this, we would have. But we were able to catch you.
And think of the power behind that, Anthony. Not only when you pick these clients up and they see that light, but then when they realize that you actually came through the program, then it gives them a little bit of hope. Like, dang, he did it. You know, like,
Even more so.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah, just like Ray said too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think is something that you learned from ARC that is keeping you, I know you said you learned some coping skills. Is there like a moment that you can put your finger on? Was it the overall experience? Is it being surrounded by the ARC every day that has kept you wanting to stay clean?
Thinking positive. Okay. Positivity. Let go of resentments, because my whole life I was resenting my mom for giving me up, and all it was negativity towards her, and I let that go, and it's it's so weird, like when I left here to go work driving cab again before I started working here, I had this positive attitude and I projected this positivity and it came back to me. Because before, when I was using, everything was negative. It was like, screw you, no, whatever. And being positive, if you think positive, you'll act positive. You act positive, you're going to get it back. Okay?
I agree.
And I'm not a therapist. I'm not a Kia know-it-all. I've been there. And, if I could teach somebody something, hell yeah.
Well, and I think that's great because, I can say that about you, meeting you and interacting with you every time I talk to you. You are smiling, you are happy, and you are crazy about ARC. And I think that it shows that that's what's working, getting to choose that positivity.
Yeah, well, once I leave these grounds, I'm like, nothing else matters to me, This place is awesome. And if you have a good attitude and you want to get clean, this is the place, man. I don't care what kind of drugs you're on. If you're addicted to opiates, wean yourself off with some Suboxone or whatever they'll help you with that.
Absolutely. And make sure you guys actually wing yourself off. Don't just alternate one thing for another. I see people do that all the time. You gotta taper.
Yeah.
So Anthony, I just have one other question for you, brother, before we close up on today's episode. But for anyone out there who may be on the fence or anyone who's living through some of the darkest days of their life, what is some of the advice you can give to them?
Come to the ARC.
Come to the ARC.
Yep. Detox. Get some knowledge. Get some coping skills, and you can do it, man. Like I said, if I can do it, you can do it. We got some awesome people here. Everybody here is awesome. I don't care. Okay, you got Vance Johnson. He used to play professional football, and he ain't. We're all the same, man. You know what I'm saying? We all,
It's all right. Thank you. And
Thank you, brother.
And lastly, do you want to give any other shout outs to anybody else?
Perry, I love you, Perry. My nurse, Perry and Melanie and Chico and Marty.
And Mom.
Marty Sella.
Chico and the man, that's what I call him.
Who am I forgetting? Mickey, front desk, love you. She's my girl.
All right.
Every Sunday we hang out.
That's cool. Well, thank you, Anthony, very much, man. I really appreciate you coming and sharing your testimony with us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you, brother.
Yes, I want to thank everybody for listening. Make sure you stay tuned. We got a lot of amazing things coming up. Once again, if you guys are interested in joining one of the episodes of the ARCast, you can find us on anchor.fm/the ARCast. That is THEARCAST. There's an option there for you guys to write us an email, leave us a voicemail. If you would like to share your testimony with us, anything like that, hit us up. Let us know what you guys are thinking. We love you guys. God bless you guys. Be safe and have a beautiful day. What's going on, everybody? This is Buddha from the ARCast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody you need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the ARCast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at Americas Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the posts positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.